and slapped it back on there, tightened it up, and just, pray that it was going to be fine the rest of the way. Well, I've been riding for about 11 years and I had yet to do an iron butt. And honestly, I didn't really know of the concept till, I don't know, maybe like 4 years ago, right before I got into the industry. And honestly, I've been riding for about 11 years, but I grew up in Mexico. I've never really had a strong riding community down there. And here, I mean, like the first year was, yeah, that's when you start, knowing people, getting to know people and meeting people. And that pretty much happened once I started working in the industry. And the iron butt is I mean, it's 1,000 miles in 24 hours. If you're not familiar with it, to some it's like, oh yeah, that's a breeze, and to some it's like, man, that sounds brutal. Well, to me, it's kind of in the middle a bit. I just don't think about those things. I just want to jump on my bike and do it and have the experience of traveling and, I mean, make memories, really. And when the opportunity came up, I was invited by a couple friends, Jerry, Cody, and Rick, and I mean, I was beyond stoked. Did I even think to prepare my bike for this trip? No, I did not check the oil, I did not check the air pressure, I did not check anything. Nada. Zero. And what ended up happening is we got together, I think it was like on a Friday, and the plan was to leave at 3. Mind you, I did not plan this trip whatsoever because I just don't plan, I just go. And man, the planning was maybe not the greatest, let's just say that. So we were supposed to leave at 3. I get there and everybody's taking pictures or like laughing or whatever, and we don't leave at 3, we leave almost an hour later, which ends up causing us to be stuck in traffic, which is oh so joyous. And it just took forever to leave Dallas in the first place. Not only that, but I think we were stuck in traffic for almost 2 hours, not to mention that I stripped the shifter on my bike and I didn't have any of the proper tools because I didn't plan. And if you know anything about my bike, I was one of those that it was cheap because it was a wholesale bike. So I knew that it needed repairs, and you learn what it needs as it breaks, because I'm not a technician. So once it breaks, then I know something was wrong or was missing, and the previous owner didn't really do a good job maintaining this bike or really installing anything on it. And naturally, once the shifter stripped, we took the heel shifter off, and this is a parking lot of O'Reilly's, and we're just borrowing tools. And if you borrow tools for AutoZone or O'Reilly's, it's just a mixed batch of random tools that might not help you, and most likely the parts that you need or the tools that you need are not going to be in that toolbox. Now, we ended up thankfully finding the right tool at O'Reilly's parking lot, and we took the heel shifter, flipped it all the way around, and slapped it back on there, tightened it up, and just, pray that it was going to be fine the rest of the way. And so we lost an hour there. It shouldn't have taken us an hour, but it did, because we had to find the tools, we had to find a place that would, that would have those tools, and that shifter did not come out easily. It was a fight to get that thing out. So with all that time lost, we ended up taking off once again, and I thought this was the first of many failures on this trip because, it was just bound to happen. The Guapo Glide was a pile of junk at the time, and I just knew something else could go wrong. And I thought, again, I wasn't going to be the only one, but as it turns out, there was only one more catastrophic failure, and it was not on mine. Now, we are already late. We're so far behind. In my mind, I'm doing the math, and I just know we are not going to make it. We're not going to make 1,000 miles in 24 hours, and if we do, it is going to be nonstop. We're not going to be able to rest anywhere. It's just going to be get there and come back, and I know Rick was really struggling, and he has the nicest bike too. He might not have the most comfortable seat, but he does have the nicest bike. He has a police bike. It's a 2017 or 2018 M8. Super smooth. I'm the one that has the oldest bike and the most rally bike, the loudest bike, and naturally I was sitting at the very back because nobody wants to listen to my bike. And so it's 3 a.m, and we're just riding. It's pitch black. There's no street lights in Arkansas, like on the highways. None. And you would think that you would be able to at least see the silhouettes of the trees on each side of the road in contrast with the sky. And I was at the very back, man, and I look in that mirror and pitch black. I cannot see anything. I do this number. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I was absolutely pitch black. And it's like, I'm just thinking, this is the worst place to get stranded. There's literally hardly any traffic whatsoever out here. If something goes wrong out here, we're screwed. And so we continue going, and I believe it was Rick that wanted to use the restroom, and I know Cody was he seemed a little bit PO'd. I don't quite remember that part very well, but he did not want to stop. I didn't want to stop, but I was kind of like, we're not going to make it anyways. I'm just going to enjoy the ride. And we get to the parking lot of this ghetto gas station in the middle of nowhere. And Cody, maybe he was tired, and in that tiredness stupor, he was trying to go into the parking lot and then turn around and park the bike facing towards the highway. Well, when he did that, he got too close to the curb, and right on the sharp edge of that curb, he ended up, just hitting it with the side of his bike. He hit it so hard that the bike came off the ground. It bounced. and he just, like nothing happened, just turned it around, put the kickstand down, and I'm thinking in my mind, like, something just happened. Something had to break. He hit that curb real hard. And puts the kickstand out, he gets off, just primary fluid just gushing out of this thing. And upon further inspection, there's a hole of the size of a penny on the bottom, right in the middle of the primary, at the bottom. It was pretty bad. The fluids came gushing out so fast. There was no stopping, and we had nothing to patch it up. It's 3 a.m. We're in the middle of Arkansas. There's just no salvation here. Now, Cody, you could tell that he was pissed, but he hadn't quite processed what had happened. And I was like, okay, well, this is interesting now. What are we going to do? Because I'm on a budget per usual, because I'm broke all the time. Jerry didn't seem really bothered by it. He didn't really he barely shows emotion. And Rick had a smile from ear to ear because he was so stoked that this thing was over. He was really struggling. His bag was really bothering him. The seat that he had, the way the bike was set up, and he had very little time with that bike. He had just purchased it, but he was so happy. You could tell he was just overjoyed that this thing had come to an end. So needless to say, we had to find a place to crash, and Cody wasn't too comfortable leaving his bike at this really ghetto gas station. And what ended up happening is he hitched a ride with Jerry on the back of his Road King, and it was the most hysterical scene. I could not stop laughing. And what ended up happening as we left, we get on the highway, and I don't know what it is about Arkansas. There's a stretch in Arkansas, a stretch of highway, where the left lane, the passing lane, is as smooth as silk. In the right lane, it's just constant bumps, like mini speed bumps. In the exact same space apart. And the three of us were just riding on this lane, and you just see the headlights doing this number, all three of us. And I was like, the next lane, it can't be that bad. I get on the next lane, and smooth, and I kept trying to wave them over, but they were set on their ways. I guess they didn't really know that I was waving at them. I don't know what happened. But watching Cody in the back of that bike just bouncing, inching forward towards Jerry and then pushing back. it was absolutely hilarious. Just grinding on Jerry was so funny. But at the end of the day, or the night, or beginning of the day, out of whatever you want to look at it, it was almost 4 a.m. by the time we made it to the hotel. It was a hotel about 15, 20 minutes away. And Rick was so happy this was over. He paid for all our rooms, and it was. I had fun. It was absolutely hilarious. The next day, we rode back to where the bike was left at that gas station. Jerry and Rick went to another dealership that was about 35 minutes away. They bought a primary. It's like $350 later. They bring it back, and in that parking lot, borrowed tools for a guy that worked at that place, and fixed it, put fluids in it, and then we went and rode around Arkansas. And then, it was cut short, but it was a blast. We really had a good time.